We're live. Taylor, thank you first and foremost for doing this with me today. This is going to be a lot of fun. I've been, I'd say a fan of like who you are as a person more so, but I think of all the women I've had on the show and even most of the dudes, you're probably the most terrifying.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Just in terms of like weapons.
Okay.
But with that being said, so take me through kind of your transition leaving high school, and, like those decisions to like where we are now, and then we can kind of go back through a full circle.
High school, I feel like that was so long ago.
Yeah.
Well, I did a victory lap
Yeah.
in high school. And then I went to Laurentian University.
Yeah.
But I went to Laurentian, I was on the wrestling team there, but I went there for the program because as much as wrestling is great, don't make money doing that sport.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, but, and then second year, I got into an accident. Really bad car accident.
Jesus,
I know.
what happened?
I know, I'll show you a picture. It's wild.
No.
I got T-boned going to a rugby game. Because I was playing rugby during the summer.
Right.
And I had a game, so I was driving, and then I got T-boned. Got smoked.
Jeez, like
I
that
know.
bad.
Yeah, I broke my pelvis. Vertebrae.
What?
Yeah, I had to, 6 months of not walking. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad.
What was that like?
It was hard.
Not.
It was, because going from being so independent, so physical, so capable of doing everything, to, being like, Dad, I need to shower.
Yeah.
He had to come and shower me. Yeah. But it was even more messed up because it happened.
Yeah.
And so my ex was in the car at the time.
Yeah.
He got transferred to, ICU.
Yeah.
Critical condition. And then they sent me home. But I was the one driving, and that was the side that got hit. So when that happened, they sent me home. They're like, oh, you're going to be stiff, but you'll be okay. Yeah. I get home. I'm, in so much pain. I'm walking.
Yeah.
Should not be walking. Shuffling my feet with my dad, holding on to me. Yeah, I woke up the next morning, used the washroom, blood in my urine. My dad was like, okay, we're going back to the hospital.
No, man.
This is a red flag. Went back to the hospital in my little town, Georgetown, and they were like, did the whole x-rays, everything, CAT scan. They were like, you are so, internally damaged that we need to transfer you to, so I went to the Hamilton Hospital.
What?
And I was there for a week. Yeah. And, yeah. They were like, you shouldn't even be walking. I was like, oh, okay. Yep. I'll show you the car, though, because once you see the car, you'll be like...
I'm already a little, oof.
It looks like a fortune cookie.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get to it, sorry.
Oddly specific. I'm terrified to see this photo.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can, describe it.
Man. What is going on?
I know.
I never would have thought, too. I find have you been in, other accidents?
No.
Or just the one? Jeez. What?
I know!
Oh, man.
I know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wild. My chair is pushed in.
Yeah, hit down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So, yeah, and, it hit a guardrail and, flipped. So I woke up all dazed and stuff. Upside down.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Oh,
but,
man.
I'm so... it happened when I was young. So I was able to recover
quicker,
better. Yeah. And, the doctors were like, because of your muscle mass that protects your bones, there's not as much, breakage.
Oh, wild.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Who would have thought?
I've heard that, but I've never heard, an example like that where it's like, hey, the muscle that we have or have developed over the years has actually helped.
Protect you.
Protect you, literally. Yeah.
Oh, also,
that's cool.
The internal, there's not so much you can do there, but,
no.
no broken, legs. My pelvis
just internal stuff, yeah.
broke, but they were like, think of it as a pretzel, because it broke in two areas.
Okay.
When you break a pretzel, it always breaks in two areas. You can't just break one.
Oh, no.
They're like, and that's your pelvis. I was like, oh, okay.
That's hurting.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so after that, I had to take a year off
Yeah.
to recover. And then after that, I went back to school, graduated. Yeah. And then I picked up jiu-jitsu and did that instead of wrestling.
What program did you end up taking?
I was in sports and physical education with concurrent education.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So it was like a double degree.
Interesting. So that's the 5-year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always like an overload.
Yeah.
Because you're taking like 2 courses for Con Ed, 2 to
Right.
3, and then you're taking your additional courses.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's instead of like the 4 and then 2 at teachers college. So instead of like degree to teachers college, they say we're gonna merge it. It's
all together.
phenomenal idea.
Yeah. It's a lot more work.
Yeah.
But it's worth it at the end because you save that year.
So, take me through your upbringing, like even before high school. Like you mentioned to me when we were chatting that you had, there's a reason I want to bring this up, that you mentioned that you had a rough upbringing, if you're okay with talking about it a bit, because I think there's something to be said about, and I've been reading a lot into it and like looking and watching a lot of videos that are more prevalent nowadays. It's a lot of victim, every like a lot of dudes I know are kind of like shifting or like taking that route, or older people as well are like more opting to be the victim in things. But you opted against it when you very well could have, a lot easier, and it would have been a forgivable thing. Take me through kind of like the rough upbringing, and we can kind of dissect if you can.
Parents, they were like oil and water for each other, just toxic. Surprisingly, because they were together for 21 years, which is insane.
Yeah.
But so growing up, I have a half sister on both sides. So my dad had a kid before me with some other lady. My mom had a kid when she was 16, 17 with another guy. And then they got together and had us 3. So by that point when they got together, it was just already not good. And they kept having kids. Both good people, just bad habits, right? So lots of moving. I've probably moved like 30 plus times in my life. Yeah.
Just houses or like cities?
Both.
Oh man.
Because I was born in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, but my siblings are born here. So like that's how much we've
like slowly getting your way here.
Yeah. So so they had my brother here, Scarborough.
Yeah.
And then when my brother was young, my dad was like separated from my mom and went back to Nova Scotia. My mom followed. Then they had me. But in this time frame, they like their alcohol.
Yeah.
So functioning alcoholics. They like their drugs. So they did drugs a lot.
Yeah.
And instead of paying rent, they
pay for drugs.
Yeah. So then we would get evicted. And then we'd go and live in a shelter.
How old are you when this is all happening, roughly? Like, that you remember?
From the day I was born.
Oh, wow. Like, right away, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like when I was born, they were already deep into it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but they were loving. Like, my dad was very loving.
Yeah.
My mom was very loving. Like, I have good memories of, like, lying in bed with my mom and being like, how was Dad when I was a very nosy child.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, how was Dad when you first met? How did you guys meet? And I'd ask the whole 21 questions. And she would stay in bed with me and talk. And like, it wasn't every night that they were getting messed up and doing drugs. So we would have, like, those family nights where we'd order pizza in and watch TV. But for the majority, they were just really irresponsible with their money.
Yeah.
So, and then fist fights with them, too. Constantly. And, like, I was in grade 3, like, breaking them up. Being like, can you guys stop fighting?
Just screaming.
Yeah, and, like, cops being called. And so, but it's, when you're that young, you should know that that's, like, you shouldn't know that that's, like, not appropriate.
Yeah.
But we knew. So when CAS was called on us, right, and they would come, we'd lie.
Oh,
we'd
no
be like,
way.
no, like, that doesn't happen.
What?
No. But, yeah.
Should we be saying that now? Or is that, like, statute of limitations is passed?
I don't know.
Nah, it could be anything.
I'm 26
I'm sure it's fine,
now, so they can't do anything now.
No, I'm sure it's fine.
But, Yeah.
Yeah.
So, growing, and then, like, my dad's clean now. He's been
Yeah.
clean for 10, 12, 13
Oh, wow.
years, and he did it all
Over
on
a
his
decade.
own. He,
Good for him.
and, like,
Wow.
I always say this because a lot of people have, like, these stereotypes with families that do that.
Yeah.
Like, they're abusive, and they're bad parents, and they neglect their, and
Yeah.
that was not the case at all. Every sporting event, my dad was there. Like, my dad, he financially was not stable, but if he had the money, he would be buying things for me.
Yeah.
So he really did try, and he was very
He
loving.
made up for it
and-
in other ways.
Yeah, just bad
Makes
habits,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
And habits that are like even a habit as easy as, like, biting your nails.
Yeah.
It's so hard to break.
Oh,
Imagine
it's
now,
impossible.
like, drugs and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard to break.
Jeez, there's something with that I found too. Like, I know a handful of, well, I see it every day, but at work too, especially. But I see a handful of those types of families go into that, and I see what you mean by. I'll always assume, and I try not to, but you always assume, like, okay, like, so they're not treating the other person well, or
Right?
yeah.
Or, like, you always
It's
think,
interesting.
and, like, even me, like, as a teacher,
Yeah.
working in a school, when I see some students, I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for them. But then I'm like, but you don't really know what's,
You
like,
don't.
going on at home. Like, they could be the most loved child,
Yeah.
but just because they financially can't afford things doesn't mean they're being neglected.
Yeah, that's an interesting lens
Yeah.
to look at. Yeah.
Right?
So, before we kind of jump forward in your timeline, what I'm wanting to know is how do you think you were able to not get caught in the like in the trap of, like, just blaming other people?
Yeah.
right.
Like playing the victim card.
Yeah, because I think they kind of go hand in hand, right? Where I think if people have a tendency, and I've been guilty for this in the past, and maybe at times still now, whereas you want to blame other people for the reason why you are the way you are.
Yeah. It's
right?
easier that way, right?
Yeah.
Instead of looking at yourself and being like, maybe I'm the issue, or
It's way
maybe.
easier, yeah.
So, when I was younger, you can't really. You have to blame your parents
Yeah, it's
up
true.
to a certain point.
No choice.
But because once you become an adult and you can make your own choices and your own decisions, that's when it's on you.
Right.
Right? Like,
That
you
makes
can't
sense.
blame anyone else.
Was there, like, a period or something you did or something you went through that kind of made you decide that, or were you always just like,
So, fun fact, when I was younger,
Yeah.
I used to be a little bit of a hothead.
oh yeah?
You never would have guessed it because I'm pretty, like, I'm calm now and
Yeah.
stuff. But, like, I used to be a hothead, and, like, I used to.
Like, things just set you off?
Oh, yeah. And I used to play the victim card.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, whoa.
I'd get mad at my dad all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be like, no, I can't. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
and I'd go off and, like, call him really mean names. I'm sorry, Dad. I love you. Like, I apologize all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. But, so, my best friend died of cancer.
Oh, wow.
And when that happened, it just,
When?
It-
At what age?
I was 21.
Oh, wow.
And
So, like,
he was 21.
recently
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, so I calmed down a little bit after
Yeah.
18, but him passing away really just changed my outlook on life.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, this guy, like, was fighting for his life,
Yeah.
and I'm here upset because of what,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's this really, it's funny you mention that. There's this really interesting, like, when I read books, I read, like, back through them, right? And I'll read, like, I have some to study, and then I have some I don't really read for stuff. There are small stories in these books, which is awesome. But what ended up happening was there's a story in the end of this book that's kind of like, I'll read it back when I need to be, like, almost like to check myself a
Yeah.
bit, right? Kind of similar story to that, where, like, this dude's best friend passed away, and then he remembers a conversation he had, and he was like, I guess, like, before, the dude was always, like, playing a victim, or he was more so just it was more just blaming a lot of other people. I think those two go hand in hand,
Yeah,
right?
it does.
Either way, you're just not taking ownership for your own things.
Yeah.
But he was blaming a lot of people for different things, and I was like, okay, interesting. As I'm reading this, I get to a bit the end, and I guess what happened is they're at, like, a party on this mountain ridge, and the friend, like, thought he could jump off, and he jumped off, and just the waves were too much underneath, so he drowned.
Oh my
And oh yeah, ridiculous. And, like, at middle of the night, everybody's hammered at this party, and I guess the kid remembered like thinking back to a conversation that he had, or he found a video or whatever it was. Or it was a conversation with the kid with his friend who passed, and he was like, "How could you be so sad that I'm gone when you were so afraid to live?" And it kind of like that was this dude's little like right heavy. It was like this dude's like way of like shifting the thinking, and then it was kind of like he then immediately started like shifted his like whole 180 shift and just started to take ownership for everything. He stopped playing the blame game or stopped playing victim on different things, and then just started to skyrocket. Like all the relationships he had, he was making more, better ones, quality and everything. And it was just very, very weird to see kind of what can come out of doing that.
Yeah. It's
fascinating.
It's a mindset for sure.
Yeah.
But it's hard to change that, right?
That was disgusting.
It really takes a lot of practice. Sometimes a big traumatic event of losing a friend or maybe a parent or can change that thinking, but to try to do it on your own, especially when you're in that habit, it is hard to just break out of it.
So you deal with and have dealt with more so you had a job at like a halfway house?
A residential, it was a group home for youth. So troubled youth went into that house,
So I imagine you've seen kind of what we were talking about where kids were in maybe the similar or worse situations than you were growing up.
It's some, but then some like had a great home and their parents just couldn't deal with the behavior and put them in this home.
Oh, interesting.
Which is so upsetting because
I feel lazy parenting almost.
Well, that's and I feel bad because like your own parents giving up on you is not gonna be like, oh,
that doesn't help you at all.
I need to be so much better. Like, no, you're like, F everything. Yeah. Now I'm really gonna.
They don't care. Why should I?
Exactly, and that's why I'm like lucky that I had the father I had.
Yeah, who did
because he, like, oh wait, like you go to school, you finish school. If we skipped, he was not happy. Yeah. Right? He didn't care about marks, but that's also because of his childhood, right? Like I think he dropped out of school at like grade 8. So marks, he didn't understand.
Right.
But so him just like being supportive and he was always like, I'm very proud of you, good job, like bragged about us and stuff.
Oh, that's sweet.
So like that helped. Yeah. Right? But with these kids that have parents that are just like, I'm done. It's like how could you, like, especially when they're like 14.
Yeah.
Right?
Like give them a chance.
Yeah. Or like let them grow out of it. They will. Yeah. 90% of teens will grow out of it.
Yeah, usually.
Right?
You can only hope to.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's do you have a strategy or how do you go about teaching or I guess guiding or coaching or mentoring these kids to have like to get out of that? Or is it just like, hey, you're plugged in to a system they already have set up and you kind of like guide them through a program that's already made, or do you like, I'm curious, I'm very just curious.
There's training and workshops that can help navigate it, but at the end of I try to be as real as I can with them, especially the teenagers, because when I was working at Sudbury Secondary School, there was a student there that opened up to me about a whole bunch of stuff about like her mom leaving or her mom doing this, and I was like, it is upsetting, but listen, and I kind of shared my own experience. Like, I grew up with two parents that were like had bad habits, and I was like, you can let it affect you and dwell on it, and like I said, victimize yourself, or you can grow from it, and it's gonna make you a stronger person. Like now I look back and I'm like, because of all of this, I'm so much stronger than if everything was like handed to me, right?
Right.
So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I just try to like be, I don't want to say a friend because that's not, I'm just trying to give them life advice.
It's an interesting way of like connecting with people, right? Especially younger kids, because I found, so I worked at a summer camp a lot throughout the years, like growing up into my like late teens, and then like I think it was like 20 or 21 the last year I worked there. It's old enough, but it was a lot of kids dealing with different issues or different home lives. Like you'll have like the really nice, well put together, upper middle class homes, whatever. And those families, households send their kids, and then we'll get the complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? Which is like the kids who will come in and they got I think there's one kid, I'm not gonna say his name, that doesn't matter, but he was, I think I was like 18 or 19. No, I was like 18 when this happened. And this kid comes in, and it was like my first week of my second year. And so I was in more of like a leadership role with like the others because I had the experience in the second year. And this kid came in where, and I'm really curious what your thought is on this, but there were two kids that are twins, identical boys.
Oh.
Yeah, 12.
Oh, great age.
Right? Horrendous. So one of the kids was like the worst behaved kid I've ever seen in my life. Like hucking plates full of food at people and stuff.
Been there.
Oh yeah, like everything, breaking windows, like destructive, like hucking rocks at things.
And it goes from like 0 to 100.
Yeah, he's calm. We're like, okay, we got him. And then all of a sudden it's like something didn't go his way, or like, oh man, you want to eat the food? He's like, I'm fucking full.
And it flips the table.
And we're like, how do we get here?
Yeah.
And like you want to laugh,
but you can't.
But
it's
you
like
can't.
more of like a
it gives into
trigger.
It a bit, eh? But what I found was his brother, like the perfect person.
Yeah.
So calm, so relaxed, didn't have anything to deal with. But you could tell that this kid, like the poorly behaved one, got treated poorly for it at home. Like he had like cigarette burns all up his arms and legs, and I'm like, okay, it has to be behavior. But his brother had nothing. I'm like, you guys got the same foster parents or something? He's like, yeah.
I'm.
Here's why I'm like.
Maybe because the other kid, it could be like the parent's favorite one, and then the other one's not getting the attention.
Yeah.
So you act out, even if it's bad attention. It's still attention.
You can't really deviate the two, I guess.
Yeah,
Weird.
Or maybe something happened at school with friends. Like, there's so many different factors that play into a kid's like personality, or he could be really badly bullied at school, and that could have been some trauma, right? With the other kid had a good friend group.
There's like, it's really interesting to see that different examples of like what things go wrong, and then be like, okay, well, how can we get positivity out of that?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh well, you did still get to experience like the love and everything, right, growing up, and then but not seeing it happen to other kids and go, oh, that might be what they're missing.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, somebody's just not caring for that person as much. It's always fascinating to me to see like how especially younger people kind of grow up and then shifts into like high school, and then they make those decisions, and you can almost tell how somebody behaves at a certain age, where it's almost they might be too far gone, or it might be not worth,
or there's like, it's unfortunate, but it's like what else can we, because the worst is like when they're at that age where it's too far gone, it's because they don't want to help themselves, right? So it's like, how am I supposed to help someone that does not want to be helped?
Right.
You can go and sign them up for give them free schooling, and if they don't want it, they won't do it. Right? So there's only so much you can do, and like, that's the hard part of being a teacher. You cannot help them all. And that's something that you just have to accept.
Yeah.
As much as you try and you want to.
Yeah, you beat yourself up trying to do it.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do.
I actually have a friend that was, it's funny you say exactly that, because that's what they went through. Whereas, like, the first 2 years, they're, like, a part-time college instructor, and they were teaching the class. They're like, man, like, all these kids, some of them, they don't want to show up. I'm like, are there kids doing well in your class? Yeah. It's like, are there some doing bad? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, right? And then, eventually, like, 2 years later, so now it's her third year, and she's like, I don't care. You know, if they show up, they show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not bad to say that, where it's like, oh, I don't care. It's like, well, you do. You're just not going to get attached to everybody being perfect.
Stress about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no point especially at that age too.
Yeah.
When they're adults, right?
Yeah, really.
It's at the end it's their choice, right? If I do something to affect my life, that's on me. It's on nobody else.
Right.
Because we're adults.
Yeah. So, take me through kind of like how'd you get hired at Secondary?
It was an LTO. So for teaching, it's a whole process. So in your pro year, you have 2 different placements that you have to do. Pro year is your last year of teacher's college.
Yeah.
You have 2 placements. So my first placement was at Algonquin in a grade 4 classroom.
Yeah.
Was lovely. Second placement at Sudbury Secondary School with the gym teacher there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was,
Very
it was
different.
like 9 and 10, I believe, or I can't even remember because I was
Yeah.
only with him for maybe like 3 weeks. And then this LTO position for a transitions classroom.
Yeah.
So all the students in there have IEPs. So they have some kind of intellectual disability.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my placement teacher was like, just apply. See,
Mhm.
no one else has applied, apply. So, okay, so I
Interesting,
applied, had an interview. They were like, we give you the job. Yeah. And I was
Let's
like,
go.
perfect.
Yeah.
Like, can't complain there.
No.
So that, and then I just stayed until, because an LTO is a long-term,
Official
long-term
health.
occasional teacher.
Oh, okay.
So sick leave, probably LTO, or maternity leave. So the teacher
Okay.
I was covering, she left for maternity leave. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
but it was nice because I was able to, like, text her and be like, hey, like, what's the schedule look like? And she was amazing. Like,
Oh, you can like get a hold of her and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, she was so
communicate.
good. Yeah, she came in
Perfect.
with the baby. Like
Yeah.
after she had her baby, she came in and like saw the classroom.
Oh,
and,
no way.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was really cool experience to have. So that's how I got in.
And then it's just been like full ride since.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
It was a lot at the beginning because I was a residential youth worker.
Yeah.
So I was working at the group
Right,
home.
yeah, you're pairing both.
Oh my gosh, it was a lot. Because when you're doing your pro year,
Yeah.
you're not making money teaching.
No, it's the worst thing ever.
But you have a full
Yeah.
day, so I work for like a full day, but I'm not making money, so I had to
Work.
have a second job,
Yeah.
right? So then
That's disgusting.
but then I got the LTO and I was like, I'm out. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Actually, I would have probably stayed because I enjoyed it.
Oh, at the work, at the home?
Yeah, at the group home. I did enjoy because I was at the boys' home
Mhm.
and they had 2 girl homes, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna move you to the girl home," and I was like, "No, I'm not doing it," because I started off at a girl home. It's more like emotional,
Oh, yeah?
and yeah, it's I can't. I would
Really?
rather. I would rather deal with the boys being
Mhm.
like, "F you,"
Yeah, whatever.
like you're the worst, you're ugly, whatever,
Jesus.
and then they'd be fine.
Yeah.
And they'd love you again. With the girl home, it was like 2 weeks ago, on this day, at this
Oh,
time, you
no.
said this, and I'm upset. And I'm like,
You're upset now?
oh my gosh, like, and then I'd be like, okay, like, I understand your feelings, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have to like address them.
Because I'm the
and-
bigger person, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I'm so sorry, like, I
Yeah.
did not mean to upset you, like,
Right.
that's not what I meant. And then they had to act fine. And then a week later, they'd be like, well, I'm still mad at you for this. And I'm like, I'm not apologizing for the 5th time. It's not,
Yeah,
like,
this is stupid now.
like, this is a lot now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
And, like, surprisingly, the boys were a lot cleaner than the girls.
No, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah,
Like-
that makes sense.
The boys would shower, for the most part, every other day.
Yeah.
The girls would, like, go, like 5 days. And we'd be like, you
What?
cannot have your Wi-Fi until you shower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh. Like, how?
That's
Which,
gross.
it sounds bad, but, like, so I just...
Yeah.
Because as a teenage girl,
Mhm.
I showered every day.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah. But, like, they just did not want to. They hated it. It was a chore. Yeah, I know. But,
Incredible.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wild.
How do you build like so it was at the Y that day that
Oh, yeah, when you saw
Buddy and
me
I
with-
saw you
yeah.
with the group. They're mean. Like just in general
To each other?
to each other. I wanted to say something, but I
I
was like
know.
it's not my place.
No, I know.
Because now Taylor has to tell me to F off.
I was like...
But
I was
yeah.
like, this is so... I don't know even
I'm more
how
just-
to handle this situation.
Yeah, I more just was like, yeah, because it was like a personal, and then it was like, okay, it's a work thing, but it's like,
Like, I'm at a work...
Yeah.
I'm doing a work thing, but...
I can see a friend of mine here.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how
Good
to...
chat,
And I've
yeah.
never been in that situation before.
That's crazy.
And it's not even like I'm just, like, at work, but
Yeah.
I'm with
It's not like you're just
troubled youth.
putting clothes back on the
Yeah.
rack.
Yeah, like I'm at
The
Walmart,
winners,
like...
yeah,
No, is I'm with these troubled youth
yeah.
out in public. and they
It's
are
like, hey, it's a friend of mine. How do I explain
yeah.
this?
I'm like, do I introduce them? Like, because again,
Yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah, because some kids don't want to be introduced at all. Yeah.
Whoa.
Because it's like confidentiality that you can't. So I have to ask them, like, can I?
Yeah, even though I could just ask them myself.
Yeah.
You still have to, you almost have to like mitigate the interaction a bit.
Or I'm like, if
Wow.
we are out in public and I
Yeah.
see someone I know, how would you like to be introduced?
Yeah.
Because I am not allowed to say, these are, like, kids from the group home.
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I can't say, like, oh, I'm at, like...
Yeah.
And I also, if they're not comfortable with it, like, people knowing that they're in the group home, I have to navigate it.
And like each one could be completely
Yep.
different from the other.
Most of the guys
They
didn't
all
care.
didn't care,
But when
yeah.
I did go out with the girls would be like, can you just say, like, we're, like, a cousin or, like, a friend? Like, well, I'm not going to say that you're a
You're
friend.
a friend because now.
Because I look weird now hanging out with a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
But
I'll say cousin.
I can say a
maybe.
family friend.
Yeah.
Right? Or, yeah. Yeah.
That's weird.
I know.
That's very tricky.
So most of the time I
Yeah.
would, like, try to dodge people so I didn't have to even
Yeah.
get into that interaction. But we were in a sauna. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
there's no escaping this.
I think I guessed. Well, I knew you like that was the work. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
That's...
what's up? You're like, I'm working. I'm like, oh, these are the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I like. Luckily, I knew before, so I was able to like put two together.
Kind of
in my head.
navigate it a little, yeah.
And Patty didn't know you well enough, so it was perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I know, but they're mean
weird.
to each other.
Yeah.
And then...
They're really mean to you. I was like, I wanted to step in and say something, be like, hey, that's my friend. But then I was like, you know what? She
she's
can
got
handle
this.
herself.
I know.
There's like a split, because that's just my instinct when I see that happening to friends of mine.
Yeah.
Like, don't care how I know you. That's kind of just what I want to do. But then I was like, nah. I was like, oh, should I say that? No, she's got
I'll just take their Wi-Fi away when I get home. Like,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
like, remember when you said this? Yeah.
Yeah.
No Wi-Fi for you.
Damn. That's ruthless.
Yeah.
Like, if you said no Wi-Fi for me, like, in the last hour, I wouldn't have been able to function.
Right?
Yeah, it would not work. But what my question with that is, watching them interact and listening to how everything went, it's like they're mean, right? But how did you build like a resilience to that? Because I think that's huge. Because they're basically bullying you.
Yeah.
The only difference is you're not choosing to be bullied.
Yeah.
You're just like, I can strangle every one of you,
I know.
all of you right
and
now.
I can't say
But you can't
anything
say that. You
back.
can't think. Yeah, there's no.
I know.
That's the worst part. Like, that would drive me nuts.
I know. It's like...
Because I was thinking, I'm like, I want to say something back, and it's not even to me.
And I just have to smile, and it's the worst
God.
when they're like
You
in
do
your
that.
face screaming, and you just have to smile and like nod and
Ah.
and you just can't. I think there's one time it affected
Yeah.
me, because for the most part I'm like, they're not like, I know who I am as a person.
Yeah.
They can sit there and say all of these mean things about
You're
me, and I'm fine because I
Yeah.
know who I am.
Right.
Right? Like, you're 16 years old calling me a fat bitch. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm huge, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's
And
like,
I
not
know
good
I'm
one.
actually a really nice
Yeah.
person, so
burn.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
You're
like, okay.
Good.
Yeah, so you just gotta brush it off
Hmm.
and just like take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, but there was one time that it affected me because there was a youth with a knife, and I did an overnight shift from like
yeah.
12. I think it was 12:30 to 8:30.
Like AM to PM? Or no, PM to AM.
PM. Well, 12:30 a.m.
Oh, yeah?
to 8:30 a.m.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah. So
We got there.
yeah, yeah, I get it because overnight you just
Jeez. I'm like, yeah.
yeah. So and it was me and another coworker, and he was in the
Yeah.
office, and I was there, and there was two youth. One of the youths was on something,
Mhm.
some kind of drug, and he was tweaking. So I'm just trying to calm him down because I didn't want him to get heightened.
Yeah.
So I'm just
smart.
like, you need to... I know you're supposed to be sleeping, but he's not sleeping. It's
Right.
not happening.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to force him to go to bed because that's going to cause a behavior,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, oh, you want tape? Here you go. But my one coworker came up and was like, no, he can't have the tape. He's supposed to be sleeping. And I'm like, behaviors, hello, this is what we're trying to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, I was pretty new too, so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you've been working here longer than me. I'm just gonna
I'll figure it out.
zip
Trust.
it. He went back in the office. This one youth went up and woke up another youth, and they started fighting, and I had the one guy cornered, and he had a pair of scissors, and then the other guy had like a knife, and they were just like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna slit your throat, and they were just like going at it, and I was scared, because they're not small guys.
They're your size or bigger.
They're, all of them are
all
my
bigger,
size.
yeah.
And when I got training done, they were like, you can't restrain anyone that's bigger than you. And I'm like, do you see the size of me?
You mean
I'm
everybody?
Yeah, I'm like, so everyone in the house I can't restrain? I'm like, I'm 5'1", weigh 120 pounds. Like, what is the point of this then?
Strain you for saying that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what is the
What
point
is going
of this?
on?
Yeah. They're like, you could hurt yourself. And I'm like,
I'm gonna hurt them.
well, either way I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's either I restrain them and hope for the best, or they're going to hurt me. Like,
Yeah.
So that is where I was, like, I went home and I, like, cried, because I was like, that was scary.
That's
like, my eye,
scary, yeah.
sharp objects, and it was, like, my coworker, I don't know how he didn't hear it, but he came out, like, 20 minutes after. And I'm
Weird.
on, and, like, there's stairs, and I'm, like, trying to, like,
Mm-hmm.
navigate both of them, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that's the only time, because I went home, and I was like,
Whoa.
shit got real.
Yeah.
And I was like, something really bad could have happened. But, like, it didn't.
Yeah.
But that's the only time it really affected me. The verbal
Yeah.
abuse, I'm like,
Yeah, you're like, whatever.
whatever.
That's cool that you can do that.
No, I'm like,
You're like, whatever.
it doesn't. Maybe if it was, like, a really close friend.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Or, like, my boyfriend saying something like that
Yeah,
to
it's
me,
bad.
then I'd be like, ugh.
Yeah,
My
it'd be
feelings
more
are really
personal.
hurt. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
like,
I don't think they'd say that too unless I always look at stuff like that and I try to tell friends of mine or people I know now, where it's like whenever there's an issue that's especially when it comes to behavior and like people being mean and stuff, it's all about intent. Right? Like it comes down to your intentions with things. It's like, well, when I said this thing to you, what was my intention?
yeah.
Because then honestly, majority of the time it's not my fault if you react poorly, and like if you say something to me, it's like, well, what was your intention? Okay, well, was it malicious?
Yeah.
No, you were just poking fun because that's what we all were doing, but I got like a
Like-
bit butter from it.
Yeah.
Fine, but it's like that's not on me. It's like I get to choose how I react, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So it's like, oh no, it's like I know that's not the case, or it's like, oh, I know these are the insecurities I have. Okay, I'm put that.
I'm
like, why
gonna
would you bring
challenge
up?
that a little
Yeah.
bit, though.
Okay. Please.
If you say something to me, though, and I'm like, I didn't like that,
Mm-hmm.
are my feelings not valid?
I think they're valid. They're just you get to control how you react to
Yeah.
it, right?
So if I'm like screaming at you and
Yeah.
stuff, that's different. But if I'm like, hey, Glenn, at practice the other day,
Yeah.
like you did this and it like kind of upset me.
Yeah.
That I think that
Oh, that's
reaction's-
yeah, that's valid. Yeah,
right.
that,
Like
yeah.
that's an okay reaction.
No, absolutely, because there's there's growth from it.
Yeah, and we can have a conversation and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like,
because the intention of what's
yeah,
going on,
like
is a
maybe
bit
your
that- yeah.
intention wasn't to like hurt my
Yeah.
feelings and stuff, because as a friend I don't think that would ever be your
Right.
intentions, but sometimes you don't know, right?
You're right. Yeah, and sometimes you don't know what. Like I could have been reacting poorly and not processing something that already happened, and then I could take it out on you. And
Yeah.
What was my intention?
Yeah, it's like it's not me. It's,
No.
it's like
I think circumstantial. I think we can go circumstantial.
Yeah.
I definitely think intent is huge, but I think like it could come down to the circumstance of like, is this built up
Yeah.
and I'm only lashing out on you because you're in front of me
yeah,
and you challenge something that I felt a certain way about? Like, is it, you know, it's like that's
yeah, that's fair.
interesting.
That was just because
Yeah.
I had this thing and I'm like, if you do something that upsets me,
Yeah.
I think my feelings are still valid,
Right.
right? But it's how I do, because I know as a friend that's not your intention to
Right.
hurt me.
No,
but
you'd
I
imagine,
think
yeah.
it's good to have that conversation instead of me being like, oh, that wasn't his intention. But it's like if it happens again,
It's like, well, what
then
did happen?
and then it's just going to keep upsetting me, even though that's not your intention.
Right.
So it's better to address it and be
Mhm.
like, hey, not a fan of that.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh,
Yeah, okay. I see what
shoot,
you're saying.
I
yeah.
didn't notice that, like,
Yeah.
that joke
I see what you're
upset
saying.
you,
Yeah,
right?
it's like, hey, okay, keep doing that. I actually I have somebody I know close to me that does that. Where it's like they get upset for certain things, and then they have to tell the person like, hey, what's up? It's like, well, do I value? I see what you're saying. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, do I just dismiss it because you're reacting poorly all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just a little more emotional, like immaturely, or I guess less control over your emotions, or unsure of how to deal with that?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we should like, okay, I'll
Address the whole thing.
chill out.
Yeah.
Maybe not talk about that, and then we move forward. Yeah, I think if there's growth out of it, I think it's good. But I think if it's like I think when you hold on to those things, that's when it gets dangerous.
Yes, yeah,
right?
because that's when the blow-ups happen. And
and that's what we try to avoid.
Yeah, because nobody likes that.
No.
And I don't like doing it. I don't like the people that I'm with don't like when, I'm not saying I blow up, but I'm just saying like when it does happen, nobody likes it.
Why did you, okay, I'll ask it this way. When you started wrestling to kind of like when you finished like focusing on wrestling and stuff, what was the biggest thing that it taught you think?
With wrestling?
Yeah.
So,
and like how'd you get into it too?
fun
Actually,
fact,
go into that.
so I got into it when I was in grade 9
Yeah.
because my brother, I have an older brother.
Right.
And he wrestled, and my brother is just one of those guys that is absolutely good at everything. And and I was like,
it bugs you.
right?
It's
just.
No, it bugs me too.
I'm like, I need to try so hard.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so, like, he's good at chess, Yu-Gi-Oh, like, video games, any kind of sport. Everything, any sport that he has ever picked up, he's, like, good at it. Jeez. Snowboarding he picked up, and I swear after the first time, he was just, like, going down. I was like, I don't.
Like, where does this come from?
Like, just so naturally gifted in, like, everything.
Nice.
Like.
Good for him.
Yeah. But being his younger sister, I was very competitive. And I was like, whatever he can do, I can do it. Plus, growing up with a single father, like, they both made me, like, no, just because you're a girl doesn't mean you can't do things.
No, absolutely.
Like, you can do it.
Hell yeah.
So my brother would do, like, 10 push-ups, and I'd be like, I can do 12. And I'd go and do 12 push-ups. Yeah. So he joined wrestling, and I was like, oh, he's doing wrestling? I'm going to do wrestling.
Doing wrestling.
I was so bad. I was, when I first started wrestling, I was brutal.
Jeez.
I was a grade 9, 14 years old. I was clumsy. I couldn't get my balance. Like, I was strong. Yeah. But I had no technique. I think I might have won, like, 2 matches my whole entire grade 9 year. Yeah. I hated it. I was like, I want to quit. Yeah. But I knew if I quit, that would disappoint my father.
No, you can't do that.
So I was like, I can't upset Papa Rich. Yeah. Like, I'm going to join again. Grade 10, something, like, clicked. Yeah. Like, maybe my muscles and my body, like, clicked. And I just, like, started getting the technique.
And then it just started to flow.
And then it just started to, all come together. And then, I fell in love with it, and it taught me, like, a lot of discipline. Yeah. Right? And, like, how to be a good loser.
Tough thing to be good at.
Well, it's
very tough to be good at.
It takes, Yeah. Like, it's okay to cry, but I'd be like, good match. Because it's, like, individual sports, losing at is one of the hardest things ever.
Oh, it sucks.
Because you can't blame anyone. No. When you're a team sport, you're like, that girl over there, she dropped the ball. Yeah. And that's why we lost.
There's countless times. Yeah.
Or if you just did this better, we would have won. But wrestling, it's like, or even jiu-jitsu, I'm like, if you lose,
individual sports,
it's on you. Like, you were just the weaker person. Yeah. Or the, like,
least skilled or something.
Yeah. So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You were less shitty.
Yeah. Not by much, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, and then I just worked really hard at wrestling. Yeah. Because wrestling's not a sport you can just.
Oh, no, you don't.
Brother.
Half time,
It was like. And he's, like, stupid strong, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even work out, but it is just, like, jacked. I'm like, what is happening?
Like, what are we doing here?
How?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, with that, what is, why'd you, we'll get into it, why'd you shift to jiu-jitsu? What was that? Tell me about how you, like, discovered it and got into it, because I think there's, something to be said about, I want to say this, though, first about wrestling. There's nothing glorious about it. is, first of all, you're in uncomfortable attire, so you don't look cool while you're doing it, right? You're completely vulnerable and on display, and it's horrendous. It's gladiator stuff. It's there's nothing glorious about it.
No, it's not cute.
No, not at all. Not even close.
Yeah.
It's a tough. And then you got headgear sometimes. It's like,
I never wore headgear.
You're like, no, that's too far.
I can't. Yeah. Or knee pads. Like some people had both knee pads. I'm like,
for what?
Like, you're fine. You've been wrestling for 2 years. Your knees are that bad that you need knee pads right now. Like, you're okay. Or just, I don't know. It just, like, so, like this one girl at OFSA wore a full-on face mask. Like, and I was like, why? Like, I don't know. It just...
You got no time for it, eh?
I don't.
You're just like,
I'm like, you're in a tough sport.
Yeah. This is how it is.
You're fine.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
You're either okay or you're completely
Or, like,
injured.
learn how to maybe, like, shoot better. I don't know.
Yeah. Solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
But they took the, cover it up knee pads.
Knee pads. I'm like, do you, like...
For what?
It just irritated because I'm
That's
like...
hilarious, yeah.
I was like, grade 9, grade 10, I was like, maybe knee pads. And I put them on and I was like, it doesn't help the impact, really.
No.
The impact is still the same.
It, like, shifts your kneecaps weirdly. Like, they are awkward to wear.
Like, they're not...
No, the best thing I do is I go knee sleeve, like weightlifting.
Yeah,
like
I guess with the compression.
Yeah, it's more compression.
Makes sense.
It doesn't get caught, less bulky, and it, like, there's a snap to it, so it helps with the movement, but...
that makes sense.
Yeah.
On, like...
That's more of, like, a recovery position thing, too.
Yeah, or, like, if you have really heavy weight.
Yeah.
I can see it, like, supporting your joints a little bit better.
Like pads for the shot.
But, like...
For the impact?
And, like, at a high school level...
Yeah, it's like, for what? Really?
University, maybe,
funny.
just because, like, it is a lot more intense.
Yeah.
Like, university or the Olympic, like, high intent... okay, I can see the knee pads, but when I was in high school and girls had, like, knee pads on, it did not make sense to me. I just could not wrap my head around it.
I think it was Cities or NASA this year. I remember the funniest thing. I saw a girl get, like, floored. And, like, everybody stopped, whatever. And I remember, and, like, you know where I'm going with this?
I think so.
Yeah, sweet. So she had, like, landed weird on her leg, or maybe, I don't even think it was that bad. But I remember you walking by and you looked at me. And you're, like, looked at the mat, and you looked up at me, and you're like, what is she doing? Like, clock's ticking or something, or you're like get off the mat and get out of the way, or like keep going. It was like something along the lines of like, you've been there for too long. It's like, suck it up, get going.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought you were joking, and then I like looked at you. I was like, what? And then you like doubled down. I was like, oh no, she's serious. Like she's literally just like, get up. There's more matches to take place. Like we're running behind.
I don't know if I'm just like...
That was the funniest thing ever.
I don't know if I'm a hard ass or what it is, but when like players get injured and they stay on for like 5, I'm like, get off.
Yeah, just move.
We want the game to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like a horrible way to look at it. But I'm like, get your friends to, like, you have another leg, waddle off. Like, I don't know.
It's not that bad, yeah.
It's not. It's like one of my girls, the wind got knocked out of her.
Yeah.
Worst feeling ever, I get it.
Yeah, it sucks.
We can't stop the match.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. Because you got the, like, no.
Keep
going, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, some of my wrestlers, like, it would be, like, a minute in, and they're, like, heavy breathing. I'm like, you are not tired.
Yeah.
You are fine.
Yeah.
Keep, like,
That's
train.
baseline.
Yeah. I'm like, and that's where the mental toughness comes in, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
yeah,
some people have
wrestling.
mental toughness.
Yeah.
Some people don't. People say that you can train mental toughness, but I think there's only, like, a capacity you can train it to.
Yeah.
And it will never be at the same level as someone that was born with mental toughness.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't...
I like that, though. That makes a lot... No, that makes perfect sense. There's a threshold we each have, right? And I think it does go back to, well, what suffering or what... And I think there's a problem nowadays with people that they want to build it, but they don't want to, like, actually just do a consistent amount of difficult things.
No.
And they're just, like... I think people like to microdose suffering or, like, microdose struggle just to... Like, oh,
help a little with
yeah,
them.
it's like, oh, let's add. I think if I do, like, this or if I do that once every, week, I'm like, no.
No.
It's worse than that.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
But even, I personally feel like people are born with mental toughness.
Yeah.
And that is, like, the max that you can get to.
Mm-hmm.
and then people that aren't. And, like, you see it a lot in wrestling where, like, they stop fighting and they give up because they don't, the mental, like, they're uncomfortable, they're tired, or even jiu-jitsu, like, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, you can train that, but you can only train it to a certain capacity, and then I think it just, like, plateaus after that.
I think you're right. I agree. There's a, it's funny, like, at that same meet we're talking about, my nephew, I was, like, watching him, and it was weird, because, like, the ref was, like, kind of coaching, like, his opponent.
Yeah.
It was weird, right?
Yeah.
It was very, very weird. And so, like, the kid scored, and the guy was, like, saying, like, oh, like, dig your toes in more, and, like, go, like, giving, like, weird little tidbits of, like, advice for him. And then I remember seeing my nephew give up.
Yeah. And you
can see it.
Yeah.
It's so easy to see. You're like, oh, yeah, he checked out.
Yeah.
He's not there anymore.
Match
is over.
Yeah.
Ref, can we call it? I know there's a minute and a half left, but he's not coming back for
Yeah.
this. You don't, right? And so I remember I got up after, and I, like, listened to his parents, I guess my older brother and sister-in-law, and they're like upset about the reffing, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna talk to this, and then they're like, yeah, the ref, you know,
blaming it.
Yeah, on everybody. And I looked at him, and I was like, and then I was like, yo, how do you feel, dude? And he's like, you know, he's like, man, he's like, you know, I was a bit, he's like, yeah, I'm discouraged, you know, like, fucking, he's like, yeah, the ref, like, you know, he was helping me, and I'm like, the ref didn't put you on your ass 4 times.
No.
The ref didn't quit with 2 minutes left. You did. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
like, let your parents be pissed at the ref. You don't be.
Yeah.
The guy was better than you.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you should have had that ref, like, you should have forced the ref to actually do the takedowns for him, and it still shouldn't have been enough. Like, you should have, like,
yeah, and that's the thing. You don't leave it
didn't.
to the ref's hands.
Yeah. Oh, he said a couple tips.
Okay.
To your guy mid-match. Like,
Yeah.
you should be dumping him on his head. Like, it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't have gotten to that point. I am very nice when
Yeah.
I coach, but I can be aggressive too.
Yeah.
And
You guys were locked in. I felt, like, really, like, intimidated walking up to say hello.
really?
I haven't known you guys for a while, yeah.
Ugh.
I was like, do I say it? No. I'll wait.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
Yeah, it was funny.
I'm usually pretty good, but I have my moments.
Yeah.
Right? I think every coach does. Especially because I am very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And if you know your athlete is capable of doing something, but they're not doing it, it just, like, it grinds your gears. It does, because I'm like,
I've seen you do
I've
this.
seen you do it. I know
Yeah.
you're capable. I know you have more in the tank. But you're not... And everyone has, like, their on and off days. But if you... On their off days, if you're like, oh, you did great, they're going to continue to think that's okay, and it's like participation trophies.
It's like, why are we...
Ugh.
Look at me started.
That's another thing.
That's another ick. But... Oh, those are bad. But, why... take me through, like, your transition from wrestling to jiu-jitsu, because I think that's... Yeah. Yeah. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I like hearing how people discover jiu-jitsu and get into it.
So it's because I was Erica. I was helping
Yeah.
Erica with little kids wrestling.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
And she knew I wrestled and everything. And she was like, come try jiu-jitsu out.
Yeah.
Come try it out. And I was like, the pajamas, don't know if I like that very much. Like, it looked like...
Nobody likes the pajamas.
No. I didn't know that there was no-gi, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see. She just, like, was like, just try it. There's an
Yeah.
open mat. Just come out. And I was like, okay.
Way nicer than I convinced my friends to do it.
No, I was pretty...
Like, adamant on not doing it? Or?
No, I was, like, open-minded, but I was
sweet.
scared.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Trying anything
new that
anything
you're
new.
gonna
It's,
be
like,
shitty at.
intimidating. So I went out, and I was like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I just stuck with it. And then no-gi was a thing, and I was like, this is my jam.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of similar to wrestling, but just with, like, chokes
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff,
sick.
which, like,
It's sick.
yeah. I'm like,
I get a kick out
I
of that.
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wrestling's, like, I love stand-up, right? So
Yeah.
if I can get them done first, I'm like, oh, I'm safe, kind of. kind of.
Yeah, it's a bit more, there's a bit more of, like, a security element to it, I guess.
Yeah, and there's no, grips.
Yeah.
That was the grips in jiu-jitsu, like, holding on.
Oh, they're terrible.
Oh, it was the most frustrating thing ever. It was, because
Yeah.
I'm good at hand fighting,
Mm-hmm.
but grips, I was like, how do I...
What do we do here?
I know, I'm like, how do I break this off? Like,
Yeah.
how do I... And there's so many different, like...
Ways to do it. You don't
Yeah.
want to, like, break it off and then now your leg's in a vulnerable position. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like, there's so many different...
There's a lot of risk to
like,
it.
oh, if I let go of this one and I do this, oh, they can get my back. Or
Yeah.
if I transition this way,
Wild.
this choke is open now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a weird one.
It's what's weird though, and what happened to me the first few months. Wrestling, you want to be on your stomach,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to be on your back.
Never.
So muscle memory, I kept going to my stomach and getting choked out.
Yeah. Like, what are we
I got
doing
choked
here?
out, I think, every practice
Yeah.
for like months. And I would like go and I'd be like, oh, shoot. And then
Yeah.
I'd go to my back. Because it was just muscle memory for doing
Right.
wrestling for so long.
Do you find your... I'm curious because we don't have the ladder, but do you have do you think it would have been better doing jiu-jitsu before wrestling or wrestling before jiu-jitsu? No, I guess
No.
you're being wrestling, so
Yeah. I don't
I
like...
wish I did wrestling.
It's, yeah. And I think wrestling sets you up for... It's a lot faster pace,
Oh yeah,
right, than
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
it's
Like
way more
jiu-jitsu,
grueling.
yeah, it's a lot more explosive, right? Jiu-jitsu, you get into a position and you can kind of figure it out. Especially with the gi, I find that it's a
slower.
little slower pace.
Yeah.
It's still intense, but it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
slower. Wrestling, it's like very explosive, like fast pace.
Mm-hmm.
So I think mental toughness for wrestling grew I grew a lot from that.
Yeah.
From being like getting doubled really hard and like being in shitty pinning positions and fighting off your back is the worst
Yeah.
thing ever. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not a fun place to be. No.
The worst is in jiu-jitsu when someone has side control and they weigh
Oh, it's terrifying.
like 60 more pounds than I
It's
do.
terrifying. How often do you experience that?
Often.
Like often, yeah.
Well, think about it. Like,
Yeah, everybody.
even the females at the gym are bigger than me
Yeah.
for the most part. And it is just... And if they have really good pressure, I'm like, ugh, this sucks.
Talk to me a bit about when it comes to rolling with dudes.
Ugh.
Yeah. I want to ask you, what's the like best way for a dude to roll with? It could be you or just like a woman in general.
This is probably all opinion based.
Yeah, sure.
Because what I like would be different than what another female
Mhm.
is gonna like.
Just from a safety perspective too.
I don't want to feel like I'm being like manhandled,
Mhm.
right? Because again, I'm
Yeah.
120 pounds.
Yeah.
Most of the guys at the gym are a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
And they're like, anatomy wise, guys are stronger than females.
Yeah, it's just a fact.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's your body, right?
Literally just built different.
Yeah.
For different things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I like when I get into a really good position
Mhm.
and they use shitty technique to get out
Yeah, because they don't want to.
and they muscle me, that drives me insane. Because at that point I'm like, nothing I do is gonna work. My technique could be flawless and it's not gonna work because you're just gonna manhandle me.
It's a weird not button, but like gear
Yeah.
or dial. Yeah, so like I almost don't feel like I just want to roll you. I don't feel I feel there might have been a time I've done that, but I don't think I think for the most part I know how to like just use technique.
And I feel for guys in this
Yeah.
like position because
suck
it's
and just
so
can't.
hard to navigate your own strength, right?
It is difficult, especially beginners.
Exactly.
Like I would say, don't roll with
I
a white
don't.
belt
I usually
guy
don't.
ever,
There's no.
unless you have to. Like unless there's like
I
limiting
usually
numbers,
try
but-
to avoid it because they are spazzy and there's like risks for injury and I'm like
Yeah.
I'm not
for anybody, let alone
exactly for like
like,
any
smaller people.
Yeah. So, but I feel like it's like I'm gonna get muscled sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
but
it's
if
the
it's like
nature of it.
yeah, it's gonna happen. But if it happens the whole entire 6 minutes,
It's like
that's when
that's
I'm like,
frustrating.
this is not enjoyable for me
Yeah.
at all.
It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. But like if I'm with
Yeah.
someone and out of the 6 minutes they do it once in a while and they don't mean to because again it's so hard to navigate that.
Right.
I'm okay with that. That I can
Like, yeah, you can understand.
I can live with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there was one time I was rolling with someone and I can't remember but I was doing something and they had to take both of their hands to move my one hand. And I'm like, in what? Like
for what?
Like, why?
Yeah.
I think I had, like, wrist control or something, and they took, like, both of them, and I was like, that...
It's like, seems like overkill.
Well, it was.
It was, yeah.
And they're like, pulling my arm, and they're like, as they're pulling it, they're like, you're so strong, and I'm like,
I hate
yeah, like, I don't even want to continue this anymore, because there's, like, this is not fun.
Right.
Like, I'm using my technique and my strength.
And it's working.
But then you're going to go and do that.
Yeah, it's tough. I think how would you say for the most part at the gym guys are? Like, it's not bad? Like, you don't get it that bad? Or like
no, there's a few guys I will avoid because I'm like...
Smart.
No
just
fun.
The way they move. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for example...
I do that same thing as well.
Nothing, like...
Yeah.
Graham.
I was going to say...
I love Graham. I do. And I don't mind
yeah.
rolling with him. He, like... I'm 5'1". He's, like, 6'7".
Yeah.
It's not fun. Like, he's so good. I will roll with him. But he's not going to be, like,
he's
the first person... I
Yeah.
pick because his legs are the size of me.
Yeah, they get caught in weird. Like,
yeah,
it's
and it has nothing to do with like he does not muscle.
No,
he's actually really he's okay to roll with.
Like he's not spazzy. He's not like awkward. No, not at all.
So I'm not trying to like.
Oh no, not at all.
Talk negatively about him, but he's just so long, and just his body and my body. It just like
doesn't line up.
It doesn't make any sense for us to roll together. But there's a few guys I'll avoid because and like some like. I don't know if it's just me again, opinion based, but I was rolling with a guy and he's like, "Oh, you're strong for a girl," and I'm like,
it's the most like. First of all, you're gonna bug her when you say that.
Yeah, like it's like
I would say that to be condescending.
Thank you, and I'm like, why can't you just say like, "Oh, you're strong," and just like I'm not gonna come to you and be like, "Oh, like you have style for a guy."
Yeah, it's just kind of
right.
Like it's like now it's like it is a backhanded compliment.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like oh,
just don't say anything to me.
Yeah. Or just say like, why did you have to add in like for a girl?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's a tough one.
But then I get like the good, like some guys I roll with, they're like, so like they're like you're really strong.
Yeah.
Or like oh like you have like one of the best.
That's how I describe you and Nikki.
Strong.
Yeah. When I'm like, they're like, yo, do you have women at the club? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what's it like to roll with them? And I'll go. So there's strong. I was like, there's strong for like women, but I'm like, then there's strong. That's just what they are.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, how do you describe it? And I'm like, well, they grab you, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if I couldn't see who was in front of me, I wouldn't be able to like decide.
Yeah. So. And like it's funny because again at the gym, I was rolling with someone, and my pressure because of wrestling is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had side control or something, and or a front headlock, I don't know. Yeah. And they're like, you were so small, but when you were in that position, you feel like you're 200 pounds. And I'm like, yes, that is the best compliment I have ever heard. And it's like, most girls would be like so offended by it, but I'm like, no, it's good, because I was using my pressure, and I was...
'Cause you know you're not 200 pounds. So you're like, obviously.
I'm not, I'm nowhere close, but I was like, that is the best.
That's wild.
So, like, it's, like, some guys are so good with, like, being, like, they're great to roll with, they use their technique, and try new things out, and I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then there's always the other spectrum, and I just avoid, because I'm like, not today.
Smart.
Yeah.
I do remember... one morning class that you were there. You know exactly. You knew exactly what one I was gonna bring up, because this one was like bad, and I remember because I was. Yeah. Well, he beat the guy up for that one, not in a bad way, but just in like, hey man. But we all did.
I think everyone was like.
We all did. We were all like, oh, hold on.
And I was the only girl there.
Yeah. He was bigger than me.
He was
big. Muscling me. He was strong, big guy, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah, what is happening?
And he would like he wouldn't move well, and then when he would move, he's like trying to like dump it, and he's doing these things, and he's like I'm like, bro, I hate every minute of this.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what Mitch is saying, first of all. So when we would get into it, I'm so frustrated about this. I'm sorry. But Mitch would say what to do. And Mitch says it once, and you hear it, and you do it.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, what was that? Okay, let's figure it out. No, it's like, why aren't you doing it already, right?
Yeah.
So Mitchell says he said the technique, and then I think probably we'll give him. Alex and I were just like doing the technique, and the guy came in with us and was like, all right, so and Alex is like trying to coach him through the technique, and Mitch is like mad that we're doing that, and
but
he's just like, no, like And then what did he say? He's like, hey guys, yeah, if you didn't listen to what was said in the instruction, don't take time away from other people who listened. And I was just like, I know he's talking to everybody, but.
Well, that he does that often. He'll talk to everyone,
oh, yeah,
but I'm like, oh, I know who you're talking.
I'm like, you're talking to me. Or
when he had me in a single and just like lifted, like I was doing the technique so nicely. Mm-hmm. I really was. I was cross facing. My hook was in.
It would have worked against anybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he just like picked me up.
The dude's 220.
And I was like, there is absolutely nothing I can do.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing, physically nothing. And Mitch, again, gave the whole speech, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, because you're not just allowing BS to happen in the gym.
Oh, no, there's no... Especially that, because that is, like, that's silly. Like, that's bullying. It's like, hey, you should... Because all of us know better.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, all of us.
Oh, yeah. Especially the morning crew. Morning crew is...
Yeah, they're on
amazing.
Point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them a lot.
It's funny, though, because when I wrestle, I like it more intense.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And I like the scrambles and stuff.
Yeah.
And guys are funny, because, like... Let's say they hit me in the head by an accident with their knee, and they'll stop and they'll be like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, okay, no, like, let's keep going. Like, I'm fine. If I stop, then okay.
Yeah.
Or, like, address it at the end. Be like, sorry, I need you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but, like...
That's funny,
It's nice, because guys are, like, very cautious and, like, open to a female in the gym, but at the same time, it's like, I'm okay. I will be okay.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it changes a dynamic in the gym having women around, or no? Or you think it's just like the same? Depends on the dudes.
I think I think it depends, because I feel like do you feel that when women are in the gym?
No, it makes no difference to me. Yeah, I don't care.
But other guys might, right?
Right.
And religion too plays a role in it. I've never crossed into it, but I know at a OFSA there was female coaches or refs, and guys from a certain religion weren't allowed to shake women's hands.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So instead of shaking, they would bow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't.
That's
you know what? I'm surprised. I know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it's good that they adopted it, because then it's more inclusive to everyone.
Right. It's not just completely weird.
Yeah.
For this one person.
Yeah. So that was good, but at the same time, I'm just like.
Yeah.
How do you, like, if you go, like, are they going to adapt it to the Olympic level, you know?
Yeah, like, where do we stop if we start here?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
I know.
That's cool
I was, like, confused at first. I was like, hang on, what? Like, the ref's not going to shake that? And then they had to explain it a little bit better. I was like, okay, that makes sense. It was religion.
Yeah. Do you have something over, it could be something that you learned when you were younger, or a lesson or a takeaway that's, like, stood the test of time in your life? Like, as an overall.
I don't know. I feel like it keeps changing.
Okay, what's, like, the most recent one? Or, like, something that's, like, oh, this is cool. Like, just cool lesson overall that you've, like, learned throughout your years.
I'm trying to...
You can take a second to think.
I know.
For sure.
I was like, let me...
You don't have to rush that, for sure.
I'm really into... Like, if it's... Like, manifesting, right? So if it's going to happen and you think positively, it will happen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Like, obviously you have to put the effort in to make it happen, but, like, for example, with teaching, I really want to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I got a permanent because I worked hard, but, like, I also had that positive mindset of, like, if it's meant to be, it's going to be.
Right.
Right? And then, like, sometimes things don't work out, but there's a reason why. There's always a reason why things don't work out.
Yeah.
Like, that's
just... makes sense.
And there's, like, a better opportunity that's going to come.
That's usually what I think it is, too, most of the time.
Yeah. For example, when I was living here and doing schooling here, I always was like, I'm moving back home.
Right.
After this, I'm not staying in Sudbury. I'm moving back home. COVID hit.
Yeah.
I was still in school. I moved, and usually when I went back home, it was for summer. So it was fun, right?
Yeah.
I moved back home, and I was there for like a year, and I was miserable. None of my friends were there anymore, because they moved away.
Yeah.
None of my hobbies were there. Jiu-jitsu, like, nothing was there for me anymore. Except for my family. But it was, like, a blessing in disguise. Because if I did pro year here, went back home, applied, I would have been on that teacher, like, that school board. And then I would have been... You're never stuck anywhere, but...
Yeah.
It would have been a harder transition to come back. Right? I would have done my placements down south. I wouldn't have done them up here.
Right.
So I wouldn't have made those connections.
Yeah, and the opportunity wouldn't have.
Yeah. So I'm like, COVID was shit, but it also, when it hit, I went back and I realized I do not like down south and I like up here.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to look at the positive sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? Not dwell in the negative.
I
don't know if that's a life lesson or what.
No, it's a good thing to highlight, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
I like that.
Because a lot of people, something really bad will happen and they'll be like, oh, I didn't get this job.
Yeah.
Like that, and be upset and stuff. And it's like, okay, maybe you didn't get the job because you wouldn't have been happy there and you're going to be happier at this job. Right? Or maybe you would have gotten the dream job and been miserable because of your coworker. Like, you never know.
Right, you don't.
Right? So it's like, it is what it is. It happens. Something better is going to come along.
I like that.
You just,
I like that a lot.
Stay positive.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Taylor, I really appreciate you sitting down with me today.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. You're not just saying that, are you?
Well, I'll tell you after.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I love it. All right, so thank you very much. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you for having me.
For sure.